Hello world, it's Alex the Dev. I know I haven't made a video in a while and don't worry, I'm working on some right now. However, I've put that on pause temporarily just to make a quick video talking about Unity. Unity has recently made some changes and announced a runtime fee, which has swiftly and rightfully annoyed the entire game dev community. So I thought I'd give my opinion on this and just have a little rant while I'm at it. Quick disclaimer, don't take everything I'm saying as facts, I'm just basing this on my opinion and perspective from the news I've heard. Things are likely to change as this whole thing progresses, and I'm sure some points will be made clearer, if not entirely reversed, although that might just be wishful thinking. Okay, so what is this runtime fee? Well, from what I understand, Unity is wanting to charge 20 cents per install for every game made with Unity, past and present. Of course, this relies on a couple of things. First, you need 200,000 installs and 200,000 in revenue, which honestly doesn't sound too bad at first, but there's so many problems with this that Unity simply hasn't addressed. Problem 1.
I didn't sign up for this.
A large part of the problem is Unity has said that this will apply to all new installs. This includes old projects. Now let me be clear, that doesn't mean that devs will be getting a giant bill through their door because a game from 2 years ago has 1 million downloads already. The policy takes effect from January 2024. So if the game has 1 million players now and you are already earning 200,000 or more, then yes, you will be charged 20 cents for every install from that date, even on a game that is years old. The problem is, when that game was made, this was not a rule. Now, I haven't read the terms and conditions. I probably should, but who does?
Nope.
Apparently, there was something in there that prevented this from happening, and Unity have just straight up removed it from their terms of service and acted like it was never there in the first place.
You saw nothing.
Now, I am getting this information from a Reddit post, which isn't always the most reliable source of information, but from what I can see, this is true. And as you'd expect, this has made a lot of developers angry. Problem 2.
I have the power!
An issue that was quickly pointed out by developers is how easily this system could be abused and the vagueness about what defines as an install. Many arguments were made at first, like what happens if a player reinstalls your game several times? What's to stop a player from running up a bill for the developer? What if the same player has the game on multiple devices? What about pirated versions of the games? How do we have to pay for those too? How are they tracked? What about people playing games through Game Pass or PlayStation Now, and so on? These are all valid questions, some of which have been kind of answered in Unity's response. I say kind of, which brings me on to the next issue. Problem 3, the response.
You haven't got any money, I checked.
Another thing that added fuel to an already raging fire was Unity's response to the backlash. People clearly hated the idea, and Unity responded in an attempt to clarify things. We got a long statement with bold fancy text that basically said, F you, we're doing this, deal with it. The thing that annoyed me and plenty of other developers is a text right at the top that says 90% of our customers won't be affected. Let me put this bluntly. What they're trying to say is most of us devs don't make money and will never make money, so it's fine. Okay, that's a little extreme, but that's how it feels.
I took it very personally.
Problem 4, free-to-play games.
Free!
Now this one would affect me directly. I mean, it doesn't. You've probably seen my video on how much money I made in 2 years from 3 games. It's not a lot. But paying per install seems like a ridiculous idea when the game is free. Are you going to make 20 cents from each user that installs? Probably not. I mean, how many games do you have on your phone right now that you have downloaded, played once, maybe twice, and then never played again? Some people will download a game and never play it at all, yet the developer will still be expected to pay for these users based on this model. I've seen people stick up for this. Take this tweet for example. People are claiming free-to-play games will be invalidated by Unity's install fee clearly didn't read the article, referencing the fact that they need to make a certain amount as well as have the downloads. The problem is, a lot of free-to-play games get ridiculously high volumes of installs and minimal income in some cases. I mean, say I fall asleep tonight and wake up and somehow my game Button Pusher jumps to 10 million downloads. From that, I only made 250,000. I say only. Now, no, let's be generous. Let's say I made 1 million. I'm completely making these numbers up as I go along, but humour me for a moment. That would mean that I owe Unity 20 cents for every install. That's roughly 2 million. The numbers don't quite add up. Some users online have already pointed out how this can easily bankrupt an indie dev, especially with this model. Again, I'm not going to get too into it, but here's another post I stumbled across. Basically, in this situation the studio is in, they're claiming that if this policy was already in place, they would owe Unity more money than they have actually earned. And that's not including their general running costs, like paying themselves and employees, operational costs, marketing, and so on. I know the free-to-play market is not everyone's favourite and generally hated by gamers and devs alike, but it isn't all money grabs and microtransactions. I make my games free so that everyone can play them. There's usually only one transaction, which is to remove the ads. Now, of course, I'd be lying if I said I didn't want a hit game that would lead me to an early retirement, but isn't that every indie dev's dream? If that happens, Unity should not make me go bankrupt in the first month. Overall, in my opinion, I think this is a stupid move that could really hurt the industry. Don't get me wrong, Unity should get paid when we get paid. I mean, game engines are important, they are the backbone of the game. Without them, there would be no game. It's only fair that if you succeed, they succeed too. Which, funnily enough, is Unreal's policy on the whole thing, but we'll get into that in a minute. I think the problem is the way this has been approached, the way they've handled and announced the whole thing, and the clarity. This new rule has been pulled out of thin air, dumped on us, and poorly explained. They've changed the rules without warning and made sure to screw over existing users with old projects at the same time. Not just that, it's messy and complicated. I mean, let's take a look at the difference between Unity and Unreal Engine, for example. I'm not going to go over the whole Unity chart here, but Unreal takes 5% on income made after 1 million. So you make 1 million and £1, you owe them 5 pence. This is subject to drop if your income falls again. Now the thing is, from what I've seen, this makes Unity cheaper than Unreal in a lot of cases. But at least the Unreal policy is clear, it's easy to understand and it's fair. I'm sure if Unity wanted money and just came out with a similar revenue share system, people may have been a little annoyed at first, but they would generally be more accepting and we would have avoided all this chaos. And that's everything. The rant is over. I'm done. I don't know what this means going forward. Many developers are choosing to exit Unity and move over to other engines. And it's not just about this rule itself. Unity has pulled similar stunts before and it's making it harder for devs to trust the company. But what will Alex the dev do? Well, I've been learning Unity for years now and all my projects have been made with Unity. However, given the types of games I make and how ridiculous this policy is, I am considering moving to another engine in the foreseeable future. If, and that's a big if, Unity fixes this policy or reverses it entirely, which probably won't happen, I may consider sticking it out or returning to it depending on where I'm at. Currently, I'm focusing on my YouTube channel. I've made a couple of new projects since the last video I uploaded and I'm hoping to make a few new videos talking about those projects over the next couple of months. In the meantime, if you follow my community page on YouTube or any of my socials, you will know that I now have skill building days. I try to set aside 1 day a week where I learn new skills and grow as a developer. This could be the perfect time to play around with a few different engines, just in case. That's everything. Like the video for me and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on my upcoming videos. Peace.